Hello and welcome to Working Dragon Mystic. I am Jade. Not doing a full hour today. I'm just doing a little mid pop up. I had quite a busy morning and afternoon, so I don't have enough time to do a full hour. But I will be on here just for a little bit to see if anybody has any questions and to also go over the importance of making sure you're grounding and the importance of taking time out for yourself, which is honestly a lesson that I'm working on personally myself, which I felt like was appropriate to talk about here. Um, so that way, I can share my experiences with you because I am one that tends to overdo it a lot. And I often forget to sometimes hit the pause button and take a break. So, hey, how's it going, Arch Dragon? Nice to see you. So yeah, I'm just doing a little mini pop-up. But as many of us are, we are all have very busy lives. Many oftentimes it's hard to find balance in our lives, and many of us often forget to ground ourselves and balance out our energies. And that's something that I quite often forget to do, and which Drake actually gives me a lot of crap for, to be honest, because I do. I forget to take care of myself and I forget to remember that it is important to make sure my energy is balanced and that I'm taking time out for myself. And so, as a little background, because some of you may not know my personal background. How's it going, Billy? I work a full-time job. I have a small business. On top of that, I'm married, have 2 kids, have 2 dogs. So I have a very busy lifestyle. And so trying to maintain a magical practice in between all of this does get quite challenging. And I have to remind myself, during the day to just even give myself just a couple minutes to just focus on grounding and centering my energy because I do get flustered a lot or overwhelmed or overstimulated, however you'd like to categorize it. And it's important to do that because if you don't take that time out to really focus on balancing out your energies and not only that, but just to give yourself a breather, you can get burnt out so quickly. And I've reached the point several times where I've almost gotten burnt out. And so, you know, I I always want to advocate for all of you out there who are doing magical practices to make sure that even if it's just taking, 5 minutes, like on your lunch break or something, just 5 minutes, and just focus on balancing and centering and grounding yourself. And grounding is something very easy to do. Many people can do it with just simple visualization. Um, to give you a perfect example, one of my go-tos for grounding is I place my feet on the ground. Yeah, you can do this sitting, standing, wherever you're at. It's multi-purpose. But I'll make sure that my feet are touching the ground and I'll visualize roots coming from my feet and going into the earth. And from there, I will visualize, for some reason, glitter um, seems to help me visualize energy. Glitter and, kind of just sparkly image. So what I'll do is I'll visualize um, that like my current energy body, being that I haven't grounded myself, might be just kind of like a darker color. And I will see like either a gold or a silver or even rose gold energy coming up through my legs. And it's like a golden color because it's fresh energy that I'm pulling up from the earth. And I will have that go up through my body and then out and down through the other leg. And it just takes some time practicing with that visualization. But all you do is you act as one leg as the input of the energy coming up into you, and then the other leg as the output. So you're positive and negative. And that seems to work the best for me. And it's very easy to do. And it's something you can do within minutes. It just takes practice getting used to that. So, and again, you just visualize that energy, however it works for you. Maybe you like seeing like a swirling or aurora type of energy when you're visualizing. Maybe you just like to see solid color. Um, However it works for you. And you just visualize that energy coming up um, through that input side, and it comes up all the way up, making sure you visualize it encompassing all of that side and then going down through the output side. And that's it. That's super easy and simple. And that's something you can do during your lunch break. Even if you just need to take a moment, you can, once when you get better at it, you can literally do it within like 1 or 2 minutes of just focusing that energy coming in and out. Once when you do that, you will notice that you get a little bit of oomph back in you. It's so simplistic you think that it wouldn't, but it actually does help out a lot. And then once when you've visualized that energy being cleared out and you have just fresh positive energy within you, then you want to center it. Then you want to focus that energy and bring it in and focus it to your core. And doing that will help you just balance yourself, holding that energy within you. And that's essentially what you would need to do. And just reminding yourself to do that, you know, either, whenever you feel like you need to, whether it's once a day, whether it's a couple of times a day. Shielding yourself actually does help to not have to ground yourself as often, especially if you're around a lot of people and you want to shield your personal energy from others around you. Shielding does help out a lot with that. Um, and, the other type of grounding that I like to do is water grounding. Um, And you can do that, like, if you're when you're in the shower and the water's hitting you, you can visualize that energy of, like, the pure water hitting you, and as it's hitting you, you visualize all of that good energy, coursing through you and then out the shower drain. It works quite well also, and it's actually what I do, as part of my nighttime routine to make sure I clear out all of the yuck and the just, energy that I've picked up throughout the day, so I end the day on a positive note. But yes, aside from that, just being able to remind yourself to focus on you every once in a while. Try not to overdo it or take on too much. And like I said, this is something that I struggle with on a regular basis. I tend to take on way too many projects at once or say yes to too many people. How's it going, Megan? Nice to see you. And this is honestly a struggle that I can foresee me working on for quite some time. So just something that's just built into my nature, and it's a habit that I really need to break. And it's something that I've shadow worked quite often, and it's still just something that I'm continuously working on and chipping away at. But it's a consistent process on working on that. So please, as you go through your magical practices and you go through your everyday to day life, don't forget to ground and center yourself and just give yourself a moment to breathe. If you need to give yourself a mental breather from magic, it's okay to take a day and give yourself a chance to be like, okay, I need to just stop myself for a minute. Got too much stuff going on. Maybe you have, a final coming up for school, or let's say you're working on a big project for work, or maybe you've just done too much and you just need to give yourself rest. It's okay to give yourself that time to rest. And again, it's something that I'm reminding myself of all the freaking time. Being a mom, it's hard to find those times to give myself rest. But when I do find those moments, I take full advantage of them. And don't ever feel guilty for having to take those moments of rest, because you don't want to reach the state of burnout. You like getting earth energy from Mississippi River because of all the runoff water from many rivers all across the U.S. Dump Mississippi. Get all. Oh, see, that's real nice. Yeah, and water grounding honestly is a really great way of just bringing in, you know, good energy to you. It's one of my favorites aside from doing the root method. But yeah, that is awesome because yeah, the Mississippi River, it does get connection from different rivers. So that's a really great way to get energy from different parts of the US. That's awesome. I'm glad you have access to that. That's pretty cool. I don't have access to bodies of water like that, unfortunately. So but yeah, that's definitely awesome. I'd love to get any questions from you. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this live, I'm doing a very short live today. I've had a very challenging day at work today, so I'm doing just a little mini pop up here, just to ramble on about grounding and taking time for yourself because it's something I'm consistently working on at this moment. Um, and I wanted to share that with you all because I know many of us often forget to take care of ourselves. And so I'm being here as a reminder to all of you to please take care of yourselves amidst all of your busy work life, your family life, your job life, and everything else in between. And I'm here to answer any questions for you. I will do my best to answer your questions. Um, Hopefully, we'll be able to get back to regular programming soon, but I know a lot of people did like having me hijacking Drake's lives. Um, so, you may be seeing me on here a little bit more and more. If you guys do like having me hijacking Drake's magical coffee hours every once in a while. We're trying to work on doing a dual live, but that's something we have to work out the kinks on. Let me see here. Chaotic workday. I thought Manic Mondays were only Monday. Oh no. Yeah, Manic Mondays is like an everyday thing for me, unfortunately. Um, yeah, it's nonstop. Even on the weekends, it is nonstop. Monday through Friday, I got my regular, office job, but my office job is not an easy job. It's consistent go, go, go the entire time. Plus, I have to get myself up at like 4:30 in the morning to get myself ready so then I can get my kids up and get them ready for school. And so I'm normally rolling with very little sleep most of the time. And on weekends, we got stuff going on every weekends. So it never ends, unfortunately. I really don't get many chances to just kick up my feet. But yeah, I get you where it's that where you said you thought Manic Mondays were only Monday. I totally get it. Um, let's see here. And for those of you who haven't heard about it, we do stream on locals as well. Um, we can actually cover some extra topics on locals that we can't necessarily talk about here on YouTube. I'm going to drop a link right here. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's the link to the Working Dragon Mystic locals. Go check us out there. We have a regular section, and then for those of you who do like to subscribe, we do have exclusive content for subscribers, as well as once a month we do a drawing for our paid subscribers, and we do a giveaway for one lucky winner of the paid subscriber group. So make sure to go check it out. We have a lot of stuff there that's really neat. And then on top of that, many of you have already checked out Drake's school, but make sure to check out the Working Dragon Mystic School. It is, I mean, the information that you get from the Working Dragon Mystic School is just, it's priceless, honestly, because, before I met Drake, I was at a standstill with my practice and almost quit. Just because I've received so much mixed information, everybody having their own opinion and telling me that this was the only way to practice magic. And then once when I met Drake and took his classes, things just changed so dramatically, in ways that I never thought possible. Um, and very quickly switched gears and started following his methods, his teachings, and gaining accountability for my own practice. And that alone played a huge role in how I moved forward with my practice. Taught me very simplistic ways of meditating and incorporating magic in my own personal life. And honestly, dragon magic was so much fun to take. Um, Being able to have a deep dive and learning about dragons and connecting with a guardian dragon and a co-mage learning to work with the 4 elemental rulers. Um, it was the lessons I had learned in those classes, really changed and shaped my life. Like, if I look at myself now and then compare it to 3.5, 4 years ago, which is crazy to think that, it's been that long. But yes, um, it's like night and day. Um, being able to do workings to attract the right job for me, doing workings to, heck, find Pokemon cards that my son is collecting. I did not think that was gonna be doable, but somehow I miraculously did it. I manifested the last 4 cards that he needed for one of his sets. And I just threw that intent out there just for shits and giggles, and you know what? It worked. We actually talked about that a little bit last week during the Magical Coffee Hour. Um, and, things like that, and also just mundane magics, making life just a little bit more simplistic and easy to handle, and learning how to incorporate magic with everyday life. One of my favorite things that I've picked up after meeting Drake was learning how to do kitchen witchery. Once when you get past all of these complicated concepts that a lot of these books have, you'll learn that magic is very simplistic and it's really all here. You set the ground rules, you set the intention, and what you do while you're doing the working is just helping you get that goal. So when you're doing kitchen witchery, I mean, yes, those books are great to read and give you guidelines, but when you're making, whatever you're working on in the kitchen, it's what you're putting into whatever you're cooking is gonna be the end result. So they could tell you, "Well, this ingredient stands for this, and this ingredient stands for this." But then if you line up all the ingredients and you look at all of the magical associations, half of them are not gonna mesh. And I was just like, "How am I gonna do this?" And then I realized, you know what? That's somebody's opinion on this ingredient is about prosperity, but this ingredient is about love, and this ingredient is about cleansing. So I decided, you know what, let's just focus on what my goal is as I'm making my dish. And it turned out beautifully. And that's how I do my kitchen witchery. I use those books still as like a guideline, but when it comes down to it, I still focus on what my end goal is. And, it works out so much better than following complicated books and instructions. And I actually do kitchen witchery daily. Every time I cook for my family, I am putting something in those dishes to, help keep my family healthy and happy and attracting prosperity, attracting success and all of those things. And it really has helped out tremendously. Yes, absolutely. And I love sharing this information because it is so simplistic that anybody could do it. Even if you're making top ramen, you could have partially made meals like top ramen, mac and cheese, hamburger helper, things that you grab from a box or from the freezer. You can still use those things and put magic in it. You don't have to make everything from scratch. I have made Kraft macaroni and cheese happiness mac and cheese, and it and it was great. We all had a wonderful time eating it. And and it yeah, it works out great. And you can do the same thing when you're dining out. When you think about, you know, how some people do like grace or something before they eat and they bless their food, that's essentially a form of kitchen witchery. So if you go out to eat, let's say you go to your local Olive Garden or you go to your local Chili's and you order yourself, let's say you go to Chili's and you order yourself a burger. You didn't make the food, but the food's sitting there in front of you. But you want to still have it attract some type of essence to you. You can sit there before you eat it and do like your own little makeshift blessing on it and charge that burger with what you want it to attract to you before you eat it. And you're still doing a form of kitchen witchery, even though you did not cook that meal. And so Oh, yes, the chaos of magic, and it's honestly so much fun, and so, I've actually I like tinkering around when we do eat out. We don't eat out often, but when we do, I do like, blessing my food and charging it with intention of, happiness, calmness, family, relationship, all of those things. Absolutely. Energy charging and manifestation, that is the nuts and bolts of everything. And I would actually challenge you guys to give it a try. Honestly, try it out. When you go out to, Chili's, or even if you go get yourself a Starbucks, charge your Starbucks with, like, let's say you have like a presentation to do at work and you need confidence. You get that Starbucks. You charge that Starbucks with confidence and you down that drink and you go into that presentation and you're going to be ready to go. Um, it's crazy how easy it works when you do stuff like that. Um, and it really works wonders. And I've done similar things with like arts and crafts around the house. Like you can see like this little stitch thing right here on my wall. That's actually a diamond painting. Um, Nice. You charge your water bottle. That's honestly such a smart thing to do. Yeah, I have a big huge water, it's like a hydro flask or something like that. I charge it with like happiness, or sometimes I change it up, but I put a little sigil on the bottom. Yep, it's all intent. But yeah, that stitch back there, backwards camera. Where was it? Right there. Um that's a diamond painting. If you haven't heard of diamond painting, it's these little beads and you use these little pens and basically it's paint by numbers, but with those little diamonds. And I have a whole hallway of them going up the stairs. And each one of them, not only did I write a sigil on the back of them, but I actually charged each one of those paintings with a different intent as I was making those diamond paintings. And honestly, it made it fun, and it's great knowing that the time spent making those things was not only relaxing for myself because it was a great way for me to decompress, but it was also a great way for me to create magical items in the house that are not only beautiful to look at, but nobody would know that it's a magical item in my house. And I do that with a lot of stuff in my house. I have little plants in my house and I have little sigils underneath the pots that I do, and I use those as as part of like cleansing, because plants, how they bring in our carbon dioxide and they breathe out the oxygen. So I do cleansing on a lot of my plants that are throughout my house. But things like that that many people wouldn't even think of. Think of all the things you do throughout the day, whether you do arts and crafts, whether you do gardening, cooking, even cleaning your house, folding your laundry, those kinds of things you can do magic with. Um, and yeah, just start thinking outside the box. It doesn't have to be just about ritual work, and it doesn't have to be just about candles and spell jars. Once when you learn to think outside the box, the world is your oyster at that point. And you can be as simplistic as getting a Sharpie and just drawing on a whole bunch of stuff. You can get yourself a whole bunch of sticky notes and put sticky notes on everything, which honestly I use these all the time with magic. Um, you can use I mean anything you can think of. Like I've even used like these little sticky pads that you can stick for like labeling stuff. I've put little itty bitty sigils on these and just like stuck them underneath little shelves and things like that. You can do that to hide stuff, because not everybody's in a place to where you can openly display your magic. The only thing one gotta know is there's no limits. Exactly. You can literally charge everything. And one of the biggest questions I get a lot, which is something that I struggled with for a while, is how do you enchant stuff in your house when you live with people who may not be as open to magic as others? And that's when it really comes down to not needing to draw on stuff and just knowing that you're charging things with intent. Once when you get that figured out, you can have just the most like ordinary items in your house. Like you can get tape, this tape dispenser, and you can charge it with something and nobody would think twice about it. They would just be like, "Oh, that's a tape dispenser on her desk." But you charge it with something and it will work for you. So there's a lot of ways that you can charge things and have it hidden in plain sight and nobody would ever know that it's something that you've charged with magic. I mean, I would love to see in the chat what like some of the most obscure items that you guys have charged for magic. I mean, I've done stuffed animals, I've done crystals, I've done little figurines, I've done pumpkins. Um, Underneath my mouse pad, I've done stuff. I mean, it's pretty fun, and sometimes I look like a little bit of a wackadoodle, doing some of these enchantments because it's like I'm sitting there staring at like a tape dispenser for forever and a day. But you know what? It works for me. You only really charge crystals with love and light. And then you know what? That's totally fine. If that works for you, then that's great. And that's honestly one of the beautiful things about magic is what one person does could be something that, that would be something that work for you, but it might not be, what everybody else does. But as long as it works for you, then that's fantastic. I love charging crystals. I think it's fun because not only are crystals beautiful, but they do hold energy very well. And I do have crystals throughout my house, all different types. I have clusters, I have tumbled stone, I have the pyramids and the little towers and little shapes. I've got it all. I've got them all over my house, and I just love them because they're so beautiful to look at. So I'm going to hang out just for a little bit longer. Like I mentioned, this is just going to be a short little pop up just to say hello and just ramble on for a little bit. Let's see here. Best crystal for protection? I mean, any crystal could be used for protection. It's one thing that I actually had discussed in one of my crystals workshops a while back. Um, Crystal is just a tool. There's going to be those books that say that these crystals are best for this, these crystals are best for that, which is fine. You can follow those guidelines if guidelines work for you. And in most cases, if you do follow the guidelines, obsidian typically works best when it comes to protection, if you want to go with a route of aligning with what the books say. But if you don't have obsidian in your house, um, it's okay to use another crystal. You just got to focus the energy and the intent on that crystal and know that you're putting that intent of protection in it and it will work just as good. So, but if you like following the books and the instructions from like other people who have built their own practices, I would say obsidian's probably the best. What energy do you charge with if intention is at all? So the way I usually charge my crystals is I'll actually do what's called the Dragon's Flame ritual. It's actually something that is discussed. Actually, Drake does have a basic video of it here on this channel. And it's also something that you build and develop and go into a bit more advanced forms. If you take like Dragon Magic 101 and Dragon Magic 102, because the essence behind the Dragon's Flame ritual is that your designated workspace where you're visualizing the flames swirling around you, you are using it to cleanse, protect, and empower. And so when you do that and you focus that energy on an item, you are first cleansing that item. So you're making it energy neutral. So whatever was in there before is now gone. So then it's a blank slate for you to charge it. And then, so you're doing, what was it? Cleanse, protect, and empower. And so the protection is like the protection around you, like a magic circle. And then empowering, you're that once when that item is cleansed and is energy neutral, then you empower it with the energy that you want to put in there. And that's typically how I do most of my charges. If you don't know how to do the Dragon's Flame ritual, many people do like the what is it, the lesser banishing ritual, the pentagram or something like that, where it does almost the same thing. Um, or you can just, if you're good with just meditating and focus and energy, you don't have to use magic circles. But I like using the Dragon's Flame ritual because it personally, to me, it helps me feel like I'm adding that extra oomph of just dragon roar into whatever I'm charging. uh, yeah, I'm a little goofy. Into whatever I'm charging. And so for me, it resonates with me doing the Dragon's Flame ritual, but do whatever resonates with you. So if you like to just do a basic focused meditation, then do that. If you like using your own version of a magic circle, then do that. If you like using the magical roar of the Dragon's Flame ritual, then do the Dragon's Flame ritual and get that dragon fire and the roar into everything that you are charging up. How's it going, Matthias? Yeah, we are changing up the schedule a little bit for magical coffee hours, and Drake is taking some time away due to just some things that came up in his life. And so the admin team and I were just kind of stepping in and helping him out when he needs a little bit of time away. And so the scheduling of magical coffee hour might fluctuate a little bit, but we should be getting back to regular scheduling soon. But I mean, who knows? I might end up doing these random pop-ups here and there if you guys like these random pop-ups. Um, that's quite similar on how you work chakras. Yeah, honestly, energy work is very similar to that. So I'm glad that it works for you very well. So but yeah, I love doing energy work, and I love working with all different types of materials to see how I can charge it and use it. I've tried doing energy work with crystals, with rocks, glass, resin, metals, wood. All are very great housings for energy. Personal favorite is crystals, but just because they're aesthetically really pretty. Um, I mean, I have like multiple crystals on my desk right now as I'm talking to you guys. But I've charged Dungeons and Dragons dice. I've charged little metal pieces. I've charged wooden plaques. All have come out with excellent results. So I'll probably stick on here for maybe another 5-10 minutes, and then I do have to skedaddle to go get my kids from school. But if you guys got any other questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them for you. But yeah, and then I did. I think I was on the locals live. Talked about charging. I charge fidgets to kind of help me at my desk when I'm getting overwhelmed. So like my husband 3D printed like a little Charizard, and I actually charged this with happiness. And so when I feel like I'm getting anxiety or just stress from work, I will actually start fiddling with this, and it actually helps me out a lot with my stress. And so, this does help me out a lot with my stress and anxiety. So when I do get stressed out, I bring out my little happiness Charizard, and I just fiddle around with it and just help me balance myself out. Yeah, I know, right? Well, hey, I do not recommend charging your D&D dice to cheat. Let me be very clear on that. I still play Dungeons and Dragons fair. I do not charge my dice to cheat, but I do charge my dice with you know, helping me relax and enjoy my time, because Dungeons and Dragons is, my time to decompress from my regular life. Um, it's a great way for me to connect with my friends and just have a good time. So usually my Dungeons and Dragons dice are just to help me have fun and decompress and de-stress is what I usually charge them with. Oh yeah, honestly, Drake is like family to me, and so I would really do anything for him. And right now, I just want to make sure that he takes the time he needs to be with his family and just to get himself recentered and ready to go. Yeah, he's. I honestly consider him very close family to me. So it was really hard to see him go through a hard time right now, and so I wanted to do everything I could to help him out. And honestly, because he's been there for me. I've had a really hard time in my life last year, and he was there for me, and really was a shoulder for me to cry on, and was a wall for me to yell at, and was everything I needed to get through what I needed to get through. And so I'm doing the same for him, because I want to see him get better and see him and his family thrive. So that's what family's for. Yeah, I thought about charging your dice. So as long as you do not charge your dice with the outcome of getting better rolls, it's not cheating. But you can charge your dice with just having a good time, decompressing, laughter, fun, things like that. That is not considered cheating, because you're just, whenever you touch those die, and whenever you throw them, um, it will then bring happiness, laughter, and fun and good times to you, not better outcomes. That's how you can charge your dice without cheating. So definitely you can charge them, just not in a way of getting better outcomes. Absolutely, Drake is a great name for a dragon practitioner. Absolutely, yes. But yeah, just to kind of circle around, I highly encourage all of you to think outside the box when it comes to your magical practice. Those books are very helpful, but when you've practiced it and learned what they have to teach you, don't be afraid to step outside the box and explore and um, tinker. Try new things, modify things, and see how you can work off of the knowledge that you've gained from what others have helped you with, and grow from it to make it your own. I strongly encourage that from all of you. Because I've seen somebody be very successful in magic, focusing on nothing but just enchantments on things around them. I've seen people have very successful practices focused solely on divinations. Um, and I like to have my magical practice based off of everyday mundane life, and it works really well for me. So I really challenge all of you to build on your knowledge and grow from it and think outside the box. So I know this hasn't been a full hour, and I do apologize. I've had a very busy day, and I had originally intended to do this live stream a little earlier, but workday just got the better of me today. So I still wanted to make sure I popped in here, said hi to you guys, rambled on for a little bit. Because I know you guys do like to connect with us here. And so don't be afraid to pop in here, and just ask questions whenever we go live. And like I've mentioned before, go check us out at Locals. We do some extra content over there that we just can't talk about here on YouTube, just because of like community guidelines and things like that. Locals is a bit more of a free form platform where we can talk about a lot of different subjects that might not be allowed here on YouTube. So there's a link for that again. On top of that, for people who do follow us on Locals, we do have a Discord. You do have to get the link through the Locals community, but we do have a Discord for our Locals followers, where you can, post about how your magical practice is going, and maybe, connect with some other like-minded practitioners. So, yeah, definitely come check us out. Um, and on top of that, don't forget to check out Drake's merch store. He has really nice visual, like towels and tapestries of like the dragon's eye seal, which is really great to use when if you happen to want to focus on like dragon magic. Um, I personally picked up the towel. The towel works great because you can stick it on the floor and you can wash it. I also do have the tapestry too, which is really nice to put up on the wall, but definitely do check out his merch store. Look for dragon rituals you mentioned. I can see them. Yes, absolutely. So make sure you go check out the Working Dragon Mystic channel here on YouTube. I think there's an option for you to search. You're going to want to search Dragon's Flame Ritual. And there's a video that gives you a brief description on that. And if you do want to build on it, then definitely check out the Working Dragon Mystic online school, because there is a class. It's Dragon Magic 101 that will help you expand on that and build from it to make that ritual even stronger. And not only that, you get to connect with the guardian dragon and your co-mage, which is also really fun too. My co-mage and my guardian dragon give me crap all the time, and they poke fun at me, and we have a great time. They challenge me, help me with my magical practice, and honestly, they're I really wouldn't have it any other way. I love having them around me all the time. And honestly, my kids love having them around too. My kids do see them pop in and out every once in a while. So, anyways, thank you so much, guys, for popping in here and listen to me rant. We'll be live again soon. So until then, you guys stay safe out there, and catch you next time. Goodbye.